Welcome to my 250th video. As is obvious from my channel name, I love both dinosaurs and dragons, but I've been neglecting my dragons and I wanted to do a special one for 250. So I'm glad this came on time because a few days ago, I returned home to this huge ass box at the door. The size didn't gel with what I knew had to be inside, and indeed, it's stuffed to the gills with bubble wrap. Now this seems like paranoia, but it's weird that it's only on top and not the bottom. So I think this was completely unnecessary and added at least $20 to the shipping. Still, inside is the treasure intact. You can see the window cutout, then every panel here. And inside, true to form, the actual model is comparatively small, encased and floating between two huge plastic trays, almost like some suspension system. At least it's safe, as I'd want it to be, because this is the creator's model Monster Hunter Malzeno, a new elder dragon from the Sunrise game. I can't give you exact dimensions for an odd shape like this, but I estimate you need at least a width of 42 centimeters or 16.6 inches, a height of 23 centimeters or 9.1 inches, and a depth of 39 centimeters or 15.4 inches. And for those of you also into dinosaurs, here's the Wilson T-Rex to show you the kind of size we're talking about. And also, here's a Royal Gala apple. Now the first impression is this sweep of the wings. Reminds me of some pictures of Batman with his cape billowing out. And from the top, you see this parallel sweep. And also the enfolding circularity here. Really pleasing. The wings are fixed, which means it's harder to show you all the close-up detail, but we'll try. First, the head. Now looking at the head, this dragon has a rather skeletal appearance. Head is pretty skull-like and appears devoid of flesh, so it comprises of primarily hard structures. And not just the obvious primary horns, but also the face and jaw. The horns are a dull metallic gold. It's hard to see, but the eyes are well painted with a nice slit for the pupil. I'm really liking the down curve of the neck and the gold horns from a different angle. On the front of the neck and chest are these very unusual looking scales, and they add tremendous interest. What's more interesting from the speculation point of view is that in the lore, these aren't scales at all. They are in fact parasitic animals called curio. So you have a flowing organic look to them. There's a very nice purple blending down into a mauve at the tips. In fact, the dragon itself is generally grey. And here's another angle. Well, just can't get enough of these. And here too on the forearms. Just really nice. You can imagine this as a seething, flagellating mess, but also adds lots of style to the dragon. And here you can see the golden claws on the forefeet grasping at the rock. And going to the back, you have the hood or cowl-like structure fanning out. You'll notice already the strains of pink in that otherwise clay grey. Indeed, this kind of complexity you'll see throughout. And from the back too, you can see the rear of the main horns. Just such a nice looking gold. Not vulgar and shiny, but organic. Then going down, you see the overlapping back plates. An anatomical commonality shared with other Monster Hunter dragons. Again, that clay color seems to be the base color, but as you'd expect, you also have much subtlety within. And all the way, and what look like canards on the sides. down the side of the tail, and all the way down to this business trident-like end. Now Malzeno can move each of these independently like a grasper. You see that beautiful blend of gold and black, a matte gold that looks organic as well. If ever they decided to do metallic AD&D dragons, whoa, just look out, wallet. And here we have a look at these canard-like fin structures. You see the supporting structure and the skin and texture. Now this follows the color scheme of the main pair of wings, with the dorsal being grey. But then here on the other side, you get your first look at that deep purple and pink mix. I just really like that subtle texturing, giving you an idea of scales, but under a layer of skin. You'll see this idea expressed even more in the main pair of wings. Before that though, let's have a look now at the thighs. And here you see more of those imbricated scales, but in a different shape. And that visual variety is a feast for the eyes. And down the leg. And down here, the thighs have these overlapping golden plates, which add a subtle flash of color. And again, just how pleasing the scale detail is. Now into the wing, and here you see these scale textures so subtly sculpted. And here you have the reptilian to a more mammalian appearance here. Now these are sculpted to different depths, so different kinds of lighting catches different detail. You can see how the scale makes up the membrane here. And likewise over here. And over the entire surface. And here we see the tips of the wing fingers. And down the edge of the wing, that serrated form. And overall, there's almost a maple leaf kind of morphology to the logic of the wing. And see here again how the scale detail transitions so naturally into the membranes. And here you can see all the different finger segments. And then the thumb claw on this side. And a close-up of that reptilian wing structure throughout. Notice the color transition from the gold here to then blend into the surrounding skin. Again, look at the serrated edges. I really like these there. Just so pleasing to look at all these curves. And finally now we come to the ventral, and first notice how the purple ties in with the chest curios and the beautiful ventral aspect of the wing. If I can just get in closer, enough for you to see, and here we have the similar reptilian texture here. Now the dragon is regal enough with its sweeping wings, but an impression of royalty is strengthened for me in these purples, a color I wouldn't normally associate with a ferocious beast. So I like this contrast of expectations. Now I can't overuse the word beautiful enough. Just really deepens the elegance of this dragon. And you see all these beautiful blends of purple here. I don't even have the vocabulary to adequately describe it. And just a quick look at the other wing. Again, just ties in so nicely with the curios. Now the box comes with 2 stands to support the wings over a long period of time. At present, I don't think I need them yet. Alright, time for comparisons. First has to be the Ichiban Kuji Velkhana. Now, considering a cutscene from the game that I've seen, these two get into, shall we say, disagreements. So it's fitting to have them square off. But in fact, there's quite a few similarities between the two. The hooded appearance, the dorsal plates down the back, and the tail. And then the tail weapons. Interestingly, in the wing, you have a half reptilian, half avian appearance to the Velkhana. And in the Malzeno, a half reptilian, half mammalian appearance. And the iridescence of the Velkhana still has its own beauty. Pose-wise, both of these have a proud bearing and a dignity befitting the elder dragons. Both are perched majestically on a ledge or rock, with the wings outspread in distinctive ways. Next, we have the creator's model Rathalos. Overall, Malzeno is bigger, but not as ridiculously so as the Fatalis, which I had neither the money nor the space to buy. So that's it. I'm really pleased to have this beautiful new dragon for my 250th video. The creator's models are like the sideshow of dinosaurs, but for dragons. Everything is carefully thought out, with a high level of detail and also beautiful paint applications. The pose is always designed to showcase the dragon to its best potential. Our dragons perched on the rock are a favourite theme, but I think you can see in this magnificent dragon the sweep of the wings and those luscious purples that this is truly one that will stand out in any display, full of majesty and imbued with an elegance you don't often see in many dragons. Now let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.